This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Welcome to the Research Talks podcast here on Stock Box with Alan Green. Alan, good to be talking to you again for another week. Everything good with you?
Very good, thanks, Mark. Yeah, it's Friday, and weekend's approaching, which is great, and some blue sky outside too. So it's all good. It's all good.
A little bit of blue sky, yes. I don't know if you've been blessed with similar warmish weather this week, which has been a nice surprise. Now we're sort of mid-October, but it has been rather mild.
Yes, it has been. Although it gets to a point because we walk the dogs sort of late afternoon, and it gets to a tipping point where all of a sudden, the chill comes down, and you realise, oh, actually, no, we are heading towards winter now. But certainly the days have been great. It's particularly going out to the front of the house, which catches all the sun. It's sometimes you walk out and you think, goodness me, it feels like 15 to 20 degrees outside. But
that's when you know you're still in Western Europe. When it very quickly drops off in the evening. It's not like being in the Med.
No, that's right. Those balmy mid evenings when you can just walk around in a t-shirt and shorts, and it's about 22 or 23 degrees at 11 at night. That's lovely. You can't beat that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, well, today on the podcast we're doing something a little bit different. Rather than taking two companies and doing a deep look into the investment case, you're going to take us through four companies and really just give us a bit of an update on them and reiterate why you think they are potentially a good investment case, considering as well the markets have been off a little these last 2 weeks. So in theory, if the investment case still stands, they're even more of a value proposition now if prices have dropped. So I think you're going to take us through AIS Resources, Mode Global Holdings, Metal NRG, and Cadence Minerals. Is that right?
That's right, Mark. Yeah, that's right. We're, as you say, I mean, we've examined these companies in detail over the past few months, and the investment propositions remain unchanged. If anything, they're stronger than ever. But I of course, I interview like you and speak with many CEOs, and had an interview with Paul Johnson at Power Metal last night, and we were just discussing the markets, and we said they were challenging at the end of August, and now for small resource companies they're even more challenging. But you have to remember, when you buy a stock, the underlying investment proposition remains unchanged, and I think particularly with the small resource and mining companies, the commodities that they're bringing out of the ground, or the commodities that they're bringing to market, those values remain unchanged. And I think there's almost unanimous agreement that we are in the middle, or even still at the beginning of a giant commodity super cycle. So of course the prices will fluctuate, the demand will ebb and flow, but let's not forget we've had a year of COVID, which has effectively meant that production, construction, infrastructural developments, it's all stopped for a year. So there is a catch up that will take place there, and that could very likely contribute to surging commodity prices. So four companies. I'm going to start with AIS Resources, which is a TSX listed company, and we referred to these previously as a TSX listed ECR Minerals, because of course their focus is predominantly in the Victoria Goldfields. I think you interviewed the chief executive Phil Thomas recently.
Indeed.
And that will be coming to market or being published at some point. I looked at that presentation, and really their investment proposition has become even more compelling. So they have three primary projects in Australia: in the Golden Triangle, in the Lachlan Fold Belt in central Victoria. There's the Fosterville Tulleen Gold Project. And of course, this is a license area which is 28 kilometres square, and it's just 12 kilometres from Kirkland Lake Gold's Fosterville mine. In quarter two of this year, the Fosterville mine produced 150 just under 158,000 ounces of gold. That's at 28% gold, so very strong performance there. And of course, the geological anomalies that underpin the activities across Victoria run across the goldfields. We then go to the the west of Victoria to the Kingston Gold Project, which is a larger license area, 167 square kilometres. It's a drill-ready property previously explored by BHP and WMC, and the license area is adjacent to another ASX listed company called Navarre Minerals, and again drilling there has already revealed 3 meters at 29.5 grams per ton. The third project is the Alga Green Gold Project, which is in New South Wales, and again this is in the West Wyalong Gold Corridor, which produced about 450,000 ounces of gold between 1894 and 2021. Still many active mines in the area, and again there has been some development work. But since we last spoke about AIS, of course, the company has also developed with the CEO Phil Thomas's experience working in Argentina. They have undertaken a joint venture with Spey Resources, which we've also spoken about, at the Incahuasi lithium project, and they have a 20% interest there. Potential for a $6 million buyout if the indicated mineral resource is in excess of 45,000 tons of lithium. So far, 3 holes completed there and 2 to go. But back to the gold projects. In August, the company announced that it had identified elevated antimony levels in the eastern section of the Fosterville-Tulleen field, and of course, antimony and arsenic are pathfinder elements for gold, and certainly, those are the biggest pathfinder elements for the Fosterville mine before the major discoveries were made there. So, of course, this is a very exciting development for ASX. In October, the company announced, in fact, it's just announced yesterday, it's identified at the Fosterville-Tulleen area 2 new prospective drill targets, R1 and R2. And these targets have been identified through using the Bouger gravity anomalies, which basically it's named after a Frenchman called Philippe Bouger, and it denotes the gravitational attraction of rocks between measurements and sea levels. So it's a good way of identifying where the minerals are in the rocks. So it's given AIS a good understanding of the surface and structure in the area, and again the arsenic and antimony indicators are very, very visible there. So we have these new drill targets, and they'll be progressing those very shortly. So AIS are at a very exciting juncture. Share price action is quite typical of resource companies at the moment, just a drift sort of downwards. So we're just off year lows at present at 0.5 cents, having been as high as 0.89 cents during the year. So an awful long way to go. The currently got a market capitalization of $9 million, which is it's laughable considering the territory that the company's working in. The other key factor is for AIS, and I have mentioned this before, their head geologist is a fellow called Dennis Walsh, the former head geologist or chief geologist at the Fosterville gold mine. So Dennis is intimately familiar with the area, and he's I know on several of the previous development statements from working in the region, he's indicated his excitement and the potential that he sees within the area. So so really, I think it's a slam dunk. This one, it's got exposure in the Victoria Goldfields, which is the hottest property for gold probably at the moment around the world. And of course, we've got the lithium project with Spey Resources. The upside from there we'll be hearing about very shortly too. So, in summary, a great time to buy.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's they're very active as well at both projects. There's lots of interesting stuff to be following, and they're at a very active stage in their journey. And I'd encourage people to go and check out those special features that we have done with Phil Thomas, and the one we did the other day coming out very soon. And Phil is very good at articulating the message there and what's going on and how excited he feels. So yeah, I agree. It's a attractive proposition at AIS.
Yeah, it is indeed. It is indeed.
Okay.
So on to Metal Energy, MNRG. Of course, we spoke about MNRG a few months ago, and you'll also have seen, of course, I interviewed Pier Paolo Rocco and Rolf Gerritsen recently on our channel, and some very good updates came from there. But in summary, there are three primary projects. There's the Goldridge project in Arizona, which consists of three historic gold mines. SRK Exploration undertook some review back in May this year, and they have a geologist, Bart Stryhouse, working for them in the area at the moment. The latest update on the Goldridge project is that following the work that was undertaken by SRK, the geologist Bart Stryhouse has undertaken further work there. He's currently there undertaking further on-site validation with detailed field work, and we expect to hear more from that shortly. Then there is Brit NRG, and of course this is where Pier Paolo Rocco is in charge of, and Pier Paolo has a lot of history, worked 40 years experience in the oil industry, not 40 years experience, so he's got many years experience in the industry, and worked for Total, ENI and Shell previously. 3 producing licenses in the UK in Lincolnshire, Wisby, Newton on Trent and Reepham, but there are some planning permission issues with Reepham, so that's currently that's currently sort of been put to one side. However, Whiskey is a very it's a very strong producer. At the last production update in July, the company produced 3,500 barrels of oil over the month, compared to an average per month of 1,500 during Q1. So that's over twice as much. Also sold 3,780 barrels in July at an average of just under $74 a barrel. And Pier Paolo and his team said they expect that the whiskey prospect will generate $2.5 million or more per annum going forward. So
the whiskey project sounds excellent, Alan.
It does, yes, yeah. Whiskey and oil combined. What a fantastic combination. But it's got huge potential. And in terms of cash generation, that sort of cash generation will underpin and of course fund the other work and the other projects the company is engaged in. And the third major project, of course, is the joint venture with Ectech, which of course is engaging green energy infrastructure and looking specifically at waste to energy plants around various sites in the UK and Europe. And there's a joint venture between MNRG, which holds 26.5% of a project in Italy, a waste to energy plant which will burn straw pellets, wood chips, and biomass. They've invested €700,000 and is expected that once the plant's up and running, it will generate EBITDA of some €750,000 per annum. So this is. This again, when it comes on stream, will be highly cash productive and enable the group to invest and use that cash to develop other projects. When I spoke to Rolf and Pier Paolo a few months ago, they expected the waste energy plant initially to come on stream in 2022. They're also looking at other projects as well. And Rolf said that there are additional strategic developments that the company have planned, but obviously this will be subject to further funding. But he did say there's sufficient cash for all future activities with the growing cash flow, and provided Whiskey continues to produce, then of course the cash will be there to fund the developments. But very exciting outlook from the group, certainly in the near term. Share price wise, again in line with other energy commodity companies, it's just drifted downwards. In fact, quite a significant drop over the past month. So the company's just got a market cap now of 4.4 million, which is laughable considering the size and the potential of the assets it has. Shares have traded as high as 1.45 on the year, so we're now just literally on those year lows. So yeah, I think it's I think we can safely say it's in bargain basement territory.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Okay, I don't want to. I'm going to cover mode last of all because that's in a different sector. But I want to cover Cadence Minerals, which has had a transformational week in so many ways. Cadence Minerals have a series of projects around the world, and they're invested into. They hold 9.7% of the Sinovac lithium project, which of course is a highly advanced project partnered by European Metals Holdings and CEZ Group, the Eastern utility giant just on the Czech-German border, and they're planning there to. Sinovac is the fourth largest lithium brine deposit in the world, and is expected to become the hub for the European EV industry. They're also planning on building battery gigafactories nearby. So there's huge potential as that develops. Cadence has remained an investor all the way through and had a very strong return on its interim results. It has a hard rock lithium projects in Argentina, and the one in Australia is currently Castillo Copper are looking to buy that, and it could be worth up to $3 million to Cadence Minerals if that goes ahead. They have concessions also in Australia with the Angibana Rare Earths project, and also in Mexico with the Mexilit and Megalit concessions at the Sonora Lithium project. But it's the Amapa Iron Ore project that's proved the transformational, pivotal asset for the group. The Amapa Iron Ore mine consists of a mine. It's in a region in northeastern Brazil. It consists of a mine and a railway, and a private port at a place called Santana. And the infrastructure was previously owned by Anglo American, who valued it on their books at $600 million in 2012. There was a collapse at the port in a year after, and the mine basically fell into administration. Cadence and Indocine have come along, and they've effectively put together a plan to bring the mine out of administration and rejuvenate the mine and put the mine back into production. There have iron ore tailings piles at the port. Through the agreement with the commercial court at Sao Paulo, they have got permission to use the railway. They've started to ship that iron ore and bring some money back in. But the final hurdle all the way through has been the fact that 3 banks in 3 different time zones around the world owned the asset, and which is in administration. And Cadence have negotiated a settlement with the banks, which has taken forever, but because of the logistical difficulties, it's taken a long time to come to that agreement. But this week on Monday, or last week on Monday, the company announced that the bank credit committees had approved the settlement agreement, and now we're at a stage, once we're past that, once the settlement agreement is signed, and it's now little more than a formality, Cadence will then invest $2.5 million and will own 20% of that asset. already, Kieran Mazaria, the CEO, flew to Brazil. I interviewed him live, live at Santana Port, and he explained what the company had gone through. And also on the Cadence Minerals Twitter feed, there is a live drone flyover of the port, and you can see the reconstruction and the redevelopment work that's gone on there already. It's hugely exciting. Once the Cadence then had the option to go up to 27%, and they have first right of refusal to go to 49%. So this is a company that's currently trading with all this other assets. It's currently trading at 22p a share, giving a market cap of just 32 million. So you combine all those assets together, the Amap iron ore asset alone, with that valuation, and the potential to be in production as early as the I think it's the end of next year or early 2023, is absolutely huge, and it's a very exciting juncture for a company. And there was an article last year which described Cadence as a minnow, taking on the big boys. I mean, this is Cadence moving into the big time, and it's very exciting for them, also for the AMAPA community, and also, of course, for shareholders.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent, good. Sounds very good, and it's quite cool that you were able to interview the guy on site as well. I saw that video with the was it was it the tailings behind?
Exactly that. So Kieran was standing at the port, and you had the iron ore tailings, and he actually picked up because the iron ore, when it goes through processing, is ground down into fine pellets, and of course, it gets loaded onto the ships. But of course, there's a fine smattering of this stuff everywhere. And as Kieran was talking, he just picked up some of the iron ore pellets, and you could just see it there. And of course, the cranes in the background. It was quite dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay, so now we'll finish up with Mode PLC then.
Yeah, Mode PLC, this is a really interesting group. So currently trading at 38.5p, giving it a market cap of 35 million. Of course, Mark, we were speaking at the outset about crypto and about how it's just changed everything. What Bitcoin's doing at the moment is absolutely astonishing, and people holding Bitcoin and wondering if it could ever go to the moon. Well, I think we're already on the way by the looks of it. But anyway, regardless, Mode basically set up an app and a series of payment infrastructures to streamline and to help as part of the Open Finance Initiative to develop an open banking product that's seamlessly transacted. So if you wanted to buy Bitcoin, it's seamlessly you can seamlessly buy through your existing banking app and own Bitcoin and then sell it and do likewise, but also facilitate the use of Bitcoin payments for commercial partners and other organizations. And they've invested a tremendous amount of money over the past year to firstly, the company IPO'd just on a year ago, came to market, and it's just developed and invested, and also quite a significant milestone. It achieved Financial Conduct Authority approval for its payment systems. The FCA license is key going forward, and it's also received an EMI license, EMI and AMLD5, which is the only company with those accreditations to be listed on the LSE main market. But from a functional standpoint, I basically downloaded the Mode app and put it on my phone early this year, and I was just very impressed with the seamless functionality. There have been some evolutions and developments, but I hold a bit of Bitcoin in there, and it's just very easy to use. And that to me is everything. If you can just use something, and you don't have to sort of work out getting around the corners and trying to come to grips with disparate functionality, then that's good. And I think Mode have achieved that from the off. So going through the year, as I said, they achieved that accreditation in June, launched payments and rewards on Android also in June, Apple iOS in July, and then also partnered with the charity donation partnership Young Lives versus Cancer in July also, and then I think another significant benchmark in August, it dual listed in the US on the OTC QB market, and of course it's given US investors access to Mode, and the US investors are really sort of very hot for Bitcoin, and I know through when we've spoken about Coincillium in the past and what Coincillium have done with their NFT marketplace and what their other plans are, it's resonated very well with US investors, and Mode's currently doing the same. So in September, it announced half-year results. They delivered a gross profit of 19% in the first half of this year, a loss obviously previously, and ended the quarter, or ended the half very strongly with just under 6 million in cash and 8.3 million in assets. So the company bought a new CEO, Ryan Moore, in May this year, ex-Baker Hughes and background in energy technology, and Ryan's really helping to drive the company forward, along with the Chief Technology Officer, Jonathan Conway, who's Jonathan has been instrumental and has co-authored the payment security sections of the UK Open Banking Specification. So there's a huge amount of experience there on the board already, and I just think Mode are just quietly chipping away in the background, developing their app, and their payment systems are gradually being taken up. They announced a THB. The payments were launched, of course, in September, and it'd be interesting to see how their payment systems are used over Christmas. Of course, people may choose to buy their Christmas presents in Bitcoin this year, and of course, if they do that, then they'll be able to go to some of the THB product offerings and complete those purchases. But nonetheless, Mode at a very exciting stage.
Indeed, as well, and also very active in promotion as well. I don't know if you follow the Twitter account, but they're always attending different conferences and events. And indeed, there was one in Amsterdam about 2 weeks ago, and I just happened to be on the Eurostar with Rita Liu, and when she was on her way over, and we had a nice chat and met up in Amsterdam for some food. And they're very active, going to lots of different events and really getting the message out there, as Jonathan says. And the share price, it started doing all right, didn't it, the last couple of weeks? And it's just dropped back a little bit, just as everything else has. But if they're really working hard, is what I can see. I think, they could really be on the cusp of something.
Yeah, I think they are. Well, I think again, that they've spent the past year building the infrastructure. A lot of work's gone on behind the scenes. They've appointed a very strong marketing team. Rita Liu, as you say, is a very strong personality in her own right. Of course, Ariana Murphy came in. Jonathan Rowland, of course, the chief executive, still, or the exec chairman in the background there, still driving the company hard. But a very strong future, and it's going to be a key player in the open banking space going forward.
I think it is. Okay, well, thank you very much, Alan. We've covered 4 companies there in under 30 minutes. Well done. Good job. Thank you for bringing us up to speed on some of the latest developments there at AIS, MNRG, Cadence Minerals, and of course Mode PLC. And we'll catch up again in a week's time.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, speak next week.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.